link. Let's see, get this going here. Live stream on YouTube. All right, preparing to live stream. Setting up your webinar for custom streaming service. Okay, here we go. This way, people around the world can watch this, and if they don't watch it now, they'll watch it later. I guess.
Can I mention a funny thing, Hugh? My daughter was in class, and they asked, they were asking their parents what they do, and my daughter says, yeah. So they asked my daughter, who's 5 years old, what does your dad do? And she said, well, my dad's a YouTuber.
Nah. YouTuber. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we do a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things we do that are probably right. I'm a garbage man. I take the garbage out. Homemaker. I keep the house. I repair the car when they say, there's a lot of things. YouTuber. That's good. That's good. That's awesome. Among other things. Yeah, I mean, I don't think a 5-year-old even comprehend the notion of what you do. I mean, sometimes I still don't believe what we do. If anyone had told me this, I'm going to just sit and chat for a little while. Well, a lot of people are still coming online here. If anyone had told me this, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, I'd be doing this. I'd say, give your head a shake, man. You'll go see a shrink or something. There's not a hope in hell that I'll be doing this. What are you talking about? I don't know anything about stocks or trading or options or anything. Internet. Oh, what is this?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, talking to people around the world every day on a daily basis. Oh, yeah, you're nuts.
Yep, exactly.
I'm going to be an accountant. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a CPA when I grow up. I got part of that. I just didn't have the personality to finish it. So I just, they said, you better find a different line of work. You go on a radio or something. I don't know, do something else. But anyway. All right, gang. That's very exciting. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very excited and I'm very thrilled and pumped and humbled and relaxed. And we had a whole bunch of people sign up last week for what we did in our trading room. And I'm going to tell you again, this is your last kind of chance to get it on the beginning of this. And then if you don't get in on this now, well, you'll have to pick it up in midstream, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, let's get started. I know. Okay, so my next question to you all is, are you new to options? If you are new to options, please use the questions box. Either way, use the questions box for any questions or comments you might have. And I want to know if you are new to options. If you don't know anything about options at all, we can do a quick primer on what options are, okay? But if you all are familiar with options, we can skip all that. All right, so let's get things recorded here. I just want to start the recording. Here we go. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Week-In Review. My name is Hugh, along with Aaron. He's the infamous Aaron Stevens. And today is Sunday, September the 24th, 2023. Here's the standard disclaimer. I'll give you half a second to read this. Just remember that you alone are responsible for all your own trading, and past performance does not guarantee future results. I cannot even guarantee I'm going to sit through the rest of this webinar. I could fall dead. Aaron, if you hear a thump, then you have to finish it. You know what I'm saying?
Don't worry, Hugh. I'll land the plane. It'll be okay. Even though I'm not a pilot, I'll get it to the runway.
Sounds good. But that'd be so far-fetched. A couple of weeks ago, we had that in our trading room. Oh my gosh, my wife had to come on and say, Aaron, you got to finish this. I got to rush you to the hospital. You just fell. Anyway, all right, I think you get this. I think you get the drift. Probably every webinar you've been on the last whatever years, you've been seeing this. So, all right, so there we are. All right, good evening. There I am in the flesh, just like Aaron's in the flesh. Now you get the privilege of seeing me, or the burden. I call it the burden. I'll be honest, I'm not very photogenic, but there I am in real, live, and color. And let's move along here. So this here is our, trying to get this PowerPoint. Where did it go? All right, this is Week-In Review. This is where we kind of look at the week, what happened, and what's coming up. And again, please use the questions box for any questions or comments you might have. You'll find a little icon on your Zoom dashboard. Okay, Aaron and I are the ones to see that. So go ahead and say whatever you want. All right, I'd love to see this. A lot of the same people are on every week. I love to see them. We have our favorites. We got our tribe. We have our tribe, and in that tribe is Sarah, Dave, let me see, Jimmy, Keith, Mark, Mike, Paling, Phil, Roy, Russ, Steve, Terry, William, a whole bunch of people. All right. Quick background, real quick background. Excuse me. I come from corporate America. All right, corporate America, handed off a lot of my money to my financial guru, and he blew it out. He blew it all out. And let me just go back to there so I can see me here. I'm trying to find the questions box here. Where did it go? There it is. So I seized matters into my own hands. I took control. And what little was left, I said, just give it to me. I have to figure out what this is all about, how this works. And I was quite comfortable with numbers, knew a little bit about risk. And long story short, kind of get emotional sometimes when I think about this. But I'll never forget the feeling I had when driving home with this paltry check in my hand, as to how little I had when I considered how much money I put into this fund. And my financial advisor, whether he was incompetent or missed the market or whatever happened, I don't know. I don't care. Obviously I do, but what can I do about it? I succumbed to the fact I recognize I'm probably going to have to go into retirement in my 80s, 90s if I live that long, and pour coffee at my local coffee shop to make ends meet. But I'll be damned if my kids are going to suffer and they're not going to go to some second-rate school. So I was determined to work as whatever it would take to make sure my kids are going to be okay as far as their education is concerned. I'm in different reservations on that now, but that's another story. Anyway, and it's funny when you put your mind to things, just how they work out. Some people say we're lucky. I don't say there's any luck at all. I don't believe in luck. I think the harder you work, the smarter you work, the more fortunate or lucky you become. And I think, Karen, you probably can attest to that too. I mean, I don't think you got anything handed to you. I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know that much about you, but I suspect you had to work pretty hard for everything you have.
Yeah. What happened was, as soon as I was born, the doctor put me on a silver platter, and they said, "This guy's too good for the silver platter. We have to take that silver platter away." That's basically what happened.
Yeah, I kind of had that with a silver spoon in my mouth. Yeah, yank that out of there. What was he? Where does he think he's privileged or entitled? We'll see that for his kid. So no, we worked hard. We worked, and I'm sure many of you have too. I don't know of any of you. I mean, I don't know you well enough. A lot of you, I talked to some of you today and some have, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you were not born with a silver spoon in your mouth or on a silver platter. So this makes it all the more interesting and exciting and appreciative of the skill you acquire through what we teach you and stuff. So anyway, moving along, I ended up learning how to do this. I'm going back a lot of years, made a lot of mistakes, lost a lot of money. I never had a Hugh back in those days to learn from. I had another buddy that he and I went back and forth and kind of discovered things and stuff. But admittedly, most of what I learned, I would say, I learned kind of like on the schoolyard, so to speak. I learned in the trenches. Hardcore learning and getting hit hard sometimes, blowing up my accounts. I'm sure we've all been there. Don't think the path to success is a straight line like that. A straight line. It's not. It goes up, goes down, goes up and up, down. It's like a roller coaster. But with every downturn I took, I stopped for a second. Just, okay, what happened here? How was this a good trade yesterday? And suddenly when I do the same thing I did yesterday, it's no longer a good trade. What changed? Was it me? Was it the market? Was it the way I saw indicators? What happened? Anyway, ended up taking lessons away along the way. And eventually I learned a few things, and I stopped or attempted to stop doing those things that were not making money, that were losing me money, causing me to make some bad moves. And eventually what was left are just those things that made me money. And I learned a lot. Anyway, started making some money, and people started asking me, "Okay, Hugh, you're on to something now. You're no longer going to work for corporate America again, and yet you look like you really enjoy life." And I see a new spark in you, a renewed something in you. You seem to be, excited to get up every morning. You seem sad, Hugh, when the weekend comes. The weekend's here, Friday, crack open the beer, the barbecue, the burgers, and you don't seem excited about the weekend. You're excited about Monday morning coming up. What happened here? Anyway, started bringing home the toys, lots of vacations, new house, new cars, all these wonderful things. And people started asking questions, and I told them, well, yeah, I'm trading options, and I discovered SPY options and stuff. So can you teach us how? So I started putting things up on a website, just a very rudimentary website. And back then, I think it was called estockoptiontrading.com or something. And it's really kind of a goofy website, something we actually threw together in the middle of the night. A little Yahoo Finance or something. I'm not really sure. I don't remember, but it was pretty good. Very, very straightforward. Here's what I'm looking to trade. Here's the results. Here's what I'm looking to trade. Here's the results. And it was bang, 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 winner, winner, winner. So we started this thing with the inner circle and the trading room, and everything just kind of ballooned from there. And it was actually pretty good. Met a lot of great people, thousands of people along the way. I think the journey was incredible. And I wouldn't trade it for anything at all. I think the journey was just incredible. So very excited to be here, still teaching people. I'm excited to teach people. Aaron, I am so blessed to have you part of this, because I can feel that you know what you're doing. You're completely on board. You are like the other half of me, and I can go away and not feel stressed about it. And that's what we're going to do. Tuesday, I'm actually leaving. You're going to be on your own Tuesday, but Wednesday, I'll be back online where I'm going. North Carolina, I got a computer all set up there, so it's okay. But I'm just traveling on Tuesday. So, and I think the following Monday, I'm traveling. So anyway, we'll talk about that
Well,
later.
thank you, sir. I do appreciate that.
All right. Folks, I am your host here along with Aaron. As I mentioned, I learned in the trenches training, learning. That's what I learned. And I've been doing this publicly now since 2010. And I believe that I understand that I know we have the longest continuous trading room in our 14th year, longest continuous trading room. And Aaron, I'm going to be quiet. Aaron, you go ahead, tell them all about yourself and your background.
Sure, of course, yeah. I'll try to keep it a little bit brief, because I know everybody's excited about the things that we're announcing today. But when I was a young man, I would say maybe 13, maybe a tween or a teen. I was in the middle school library, and I picked up the Wall Street Journal, and I became obsessed with stock prices. And I took out a yellow highlighter. I used to underline with a yellow highlighter and a pen as well stock prices and stocks that I thought were interesting. You had Netflix, that was a lot lower than it is now, around $10 a share. You had Priceline. Around, what was it, $7.50 a share? It shot up more than to $1,600. You had Amazon. You had E-Trade. You had all these interesting stocks that were coming up in the late 90s, and I just got an itch. I caught the bug, and I viewed my future as one where I would be helping people in some capacity, as well as helping others, maybe doing some philanthropy work later on, and trading and investing. And that was what I've set up myself in my life to be a part of. So long story short, I'll try to keep it succinct. I started, reading books and studying and looking at charts, opened up my first trading account at the age of 17, 18. And but unfortunately, during that time, there was something called the bubble bursting in the tech bubble, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. So I took a break, came back, I started studying Forex. It became very interesting to me. Of course, Forex is almost a $5 trillion a day market, largest market in the world. And I read all the books that you could think of that are at the time, at least the foundational books in technical analysis and stock trading. And I tried a couple of different systems and strategies, but I took everything away, and I just started looking at the charts and poring over charts, poring over hundreds of hours of looking at the market and different charts of different currency pairs, different stocks, commodities. I ended up self-studying for and passing my Series 3 exam, which is a commodity broker exam, futures commodity broker exam, or anybody that is a CTA or a CPO. CPO is like a commodity pool operator. It's basically a fund set up for commodities. And then I went to work for a couple different firms while I was learning, and I was an analyst as well. Most recently, at around $150 million CPO fund that is based out of Virginia. I had a lot of different market calls, predicted a lot of the major tops for the last 5-10 years for that for my friends as well as for that fund. So and I'm really happy to be here. I think as you said, he has a very systematic approach, whereas I also have a systematic approach, but also look at the charts and look at patterns, the long-term and short-term patterns to catch some of the longer-term moves and bigger moves in the market. So I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for your introduction, Hugh.
My pleasure, Aaron, my pleasure. You know, back in school, you would have been that oddball guy, right? You would have been that, you know, everybody else is, you know, into sports and the cars and the chasing girls, everything else. You were kind of the different guy. For some reason, I suspect that while all the other kids are out there goofing around and playing the air guitar, you were probably playing the air accordion or something.
Well, I did play the saxophone, and I did play a lot of basketball. I used to beat the pants off of these Georgetown kids down at Georgetown University. I don't know if any of you ever heard of that school, but I would outrun them and out jump them on the court down there.
Doesn't surprise me. I met you, Aaron. You're very tall. How tall? What are you, 6'4" or something?
Yes, 6'3". Yeah, 6'4", 6'4" with my shoes on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. No wonder why other girls are chasing you. All right. Well, let's move on. Here. All right, folks. I want to know, how much are you interested in making every day here on the stock market? Would you be happy with $100 to $200 a day, or 500, 1,000, over 1,000? What are you looking to make? Please put in the questions box. I want to make this a little interactive so I can get an idea here as to which way we should go with you guys on all this whole stuff. When I say guys, I mean guys and gals. It's really kind of interesting to me, because if we're talking about somebody who's looking at making 1,000 plus, we might, you know, look at you a little bit differently than somebody making 100 to 200. I mean, it's all over, right? It's all over the place, and we can accommodate all of you. All right. Okay, a lot of numbers coming in here. In fact, they're all over the place. They're all over. A lot of people are pretty happy with anywhere from a couple hundred to 500 a day, which I think is very doable. It's not that difficult. A few D's, some B's, couple A's. Cool. All right. Let's move along. Good to know that. So we got a little fireside chat here. All right, we got a little fireside chat, and it looks like everybody here is familiar with options, or at least most people are. And if you didn't speak up when I asked you earlier, well, then we're gonna skip the intro to trading kind of a part where we talk about what are options and all that stuff. If you do fall into that category where you're totally lost, you have no clue what we're talking about with options, let me know that, and we'll stay later, and I'll go through a quick primer on that. But right now, we're going to have a little fireside chat coming up after we look at the weekend review, and we're going to talk about the 2 to 10K challenge. All right, that's coming up. Okay. And any other questions you might have, put in the questions box. We'll certainly try and address them. Here's the way the week looked here this week. We'll quickly go over and see what happened. I want to spend a lot of time on this because it's not so much what happened. It's important as to where it's going. All right. I'm a big advocate of, you know, we want to see where things are going more importantly than where they have been. But it's kind of nice to see what happened last week. Monday was a low, no news day. A lot of technical trading. SPY was just in that 2-point range much of the day, between 442 and 444. Come Tuesday, we had, oddly enough, some Canadian CPI numbers. This happened last time too. When those numbers were high, the markets here in the U.S. got a little jittery, and they kind of went down, thinking that, maybe things are not as rosy as we think, and maybe there's going to be some spillover. Not really sure. We also had a higher than expected building permits report. So investors were also concerned because there's an upcoming FOMC statement. Now they're all expecting the Feds to keep interest rates where they were. And that's so we found some key support there at the mid 440s. Traders pushed it back north to wrap it up somewhere around 442.5 before the end of the day. But sometimes you get these, overseas type news items that are going to affect things on this side, just as a sentiment, market sentiment, and some concern is enough to move markets down. Well, Wednesday, we did get the Fed announcement that they are keeping rates the same, but they also cautioned us of further increases before the end of the year. They do want to get into inflation down to 2%. They're going to do whatever they can to make that happen. So we end up losing a good few points right there. Well, that fallout continued into Thursday about possible rate increases for November the 1st, and also I think December, later on in December. One or both months rather, could show some additional interest rate increases to wrestle that interest right down. Come Friday, we had strong PMI numbers, continued to weigh in on inflation. SPY closed just above 430 on Friday afternoon. We did hit a high of a low of 429.99. Excuse me. We didn't get much up after that. We're going to see what happens. So here's what happened. The S&P actually lost 2.9% on the week, but we're still up year to date, 12.5%. NASDAQ is still up, year to date 6.2%, and the Dow is still up 2.5%. Although all indices or indexes, however you want to say it, did lose this last week. Fed's message to markets: expect higher for longer, fewer rate cuts for next year as inflation eases back to 2%. The outlook for peak Fed rate, 5.6%, possibility of additional rate hikes this year. And stocks were actually quick to react here. We dropped 14 points in 3 days. That's huge. That's huge. So, well, Fed Chair Powell and friends continue to signal this imminent more rate hikes. They're certainly sidelined by core inflation continuing to gradually move lower. A cooling labor market, that's also good for inflation. Consumers drawing down their excess savings, now facing higher energy costs. Here's where they pushed the expectations back for the first Fed rate cut. They're thinking of doing it in June of next year. Now it's down to July, and we'll see if this continues. So they're not in any hurry now to reduce interest rates. We're talking about pretty well the first half of next year, still running high at 5.5%. All right, so that's what it looked like the last week. Here's a seasonal chart. Going to stretch this out for those not familiar. That blue line is where SPY is now, and the red line is the composite of the last 5 years closing price on the daily chart. You can see it's quite a bit lower, and just because something happened the last 5 years or the pattern doesn't mean it's going to happen again. But here's the chart sort of zoomed in, and we'll see here what just kind of happened here. As of last week, SPY did drop. Now it's a gradual line, but we did drop about 5 points. And from a seasonal standpoint, SPY also slipped another 5 points going into the end of the month. But this is something that we identified actually weeks ago. We talked about this very thing, about how SPY is probably going to go down into the end of the month, and we're still sitting here with another week of possible, perhaps probable move to the downside on from a seasonal standpoint. So we'll see what this week brings. Okay. Forward looking, Monday, it's going to be a low or no news day, so it's going to be fairly flat as far as trading is concerned. Tuesday, we got consumer confidence, new home sales, Richmond Manufacturing Index, and member Michelle Bowman speaks, and she is generally hawkish. So we'll see where that goes. I don't think that's, I'm not sure what time she speaks. That might be early afternoon or something. I generally don't put those up unless it really kind of affects the market. Let me just take a look here what time she's up on deck to speak here on Monday. That is going to be Michelle Bowman, Fed. Oh, that'll be 1:30. 1:30. She's going to be speaking, delivering a pre-recorded opening remark at the Fed Communities event in Washington, D.C. So may or may not have an impact. We'll see what happens, but that's coming up on Tuesday. Wednesday, durable goods orders, oil inventories, and on Thursday, gross domestic product numbers. We have gross domestic product numbers quarter to quarter, month over month, all these wonderful things, bunch of numbers coming out there. Unemployment claims, pending home sales. Fed member Cook speaks, and Cook is dovish. So it could be a little bit of a break there, and interest rates, at least that's kind of what they're going to be talking about, perhaps. Let me just see when that is going to be. I also have on Thursday Goolsby. Goolsby is another one. Okay, and let me just see who is hawkish, who is dovish in that regard. I thought Goolsby was dovish. Let me see. Goolsby is dovish, and Cook is also a little dovish. Okay, so that's good. That's all good news. Fed Chair Powell also speaks after hours. That's on Thursday, and he will be understand he'll be speaking at a town hall event with educators hosted by the Fed Reserve in Washington, D.C. Not sure what he's going to say, but that's going to be at 4 p.m. Probably will not have much effect on the market during the day, Thursday. Coming up Friday, personal consumption expenditures, personal income, personal spending, Chicago PMI, consumer sentiment, inflation expectations, and Williams, Fed member Williams speaks, who is also hawkish. There's a lot of economic activity on Thursday and Friday. So what does this mean here? I expect volatility increase from Monday into the week. In addition, investor enthusiasm around artificial intelligence and what they call the Magnificent Seven. So these are the stocks: Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, which is Facebook, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla. These have stretched valuations. So we might see some consolidation and profit taking in this regard coming a little bit, although it's likely not going to be beyond a normal correction. So these stocks may contract a little bit here. So we'll be watching for that. In addition, there's going to be a worry around a potential government shutdown at the end of September, I think October the 1st. Government once again runs out of money. No doubt they're going to continue on with whatever they do and bring some extra cash in. I don't know, I haven't heard a lot of talk about that yet, but I know that's kind of looming out there. So that's going to have probably somewhat of a negative effect on the markets. And of course, ongoing United Auto Workers strikes, demanding more and more and more. And of course, you know where that's going to come from, you and me. Well, you know, unless you buy a foreign car or a Tesla or something. But we'll see where that goes. That could have a negative effect on the market as well. And that's kind of where we're going. So suggested trading here, just again, aim for smaller gains and watch for a possible further drop in the stock market. Okay. That's kind of where we're going with that. So folks, want to talk to you about some of the many opportunities out there. They present themselves all day long. And, you know, when you go back into those charts and you say, look at this, we could have gotten in here, picked up a few points there, a few points there, a few points there. Aaron, I don't know, I want to say there's probably 10 different really good points to get into the market every day. Where you just get in.
Correct.
Probably.
Yeah, but it's also about learning how to read price and read the market as well. I mean, you've had some of the yellow brick road ideas this last week. They were really spot on in the trading room, and as well as, you know, the last couple of weeks. You know, they'll go exactly in the direction that you mentioned, you know, and it's really just learning how to read price and learning how to read price action off of major support and resistance levels and take advantage of those.
Totally. And that's what we do. We teach you how to spot them, how to trade them. All right, we're going to launch this, folks. We're going to launch it once again. Version 2. You like that, yeah?
That's great.
Last year I had a little guy in a slingshot. This week it's that. Last week it was a slingshot. This week it's going to be this little rocket here, the challenge. Version 2. 2K to 10K challenge starting tomorrow, Monday, September the 25th. This is going to be in the trading room. Trading room members, watch it live as it happens. Now you can watch it, you can trade along with us, you can, you know, test it yourself. You can do whatever, or you can just be entertained. Some people just like to be entertained by this. Some people are sitting in the bush. Oh, I hope he loses his shirt. Wouldn't that be nice? I hear you guys saying that. You guys, you come on, admit it. You, there's some guys out there that are just dying to watch us lose it all, right? Well, we're endeavoring not to. We want to make sure that, you know, we do a good job on this, and that's what we're going to do. Now, the last, I'm just going to kind of briefly go over this. I'm not getting into the detail here, but this is kind of like what the spreadsheet looked like last time. Very busy, as a matter of fact. The important thing here is that we actually did turn $2,000 over into $10,000 in 3 months. And that's what we're going to look at doing again. Now, imagine this here for a second. Let's say you start with September the 25th. And 3 months later, it's going to be December the 25th. Merry Christmas. You got yourself $10,000 from $2,000. I mean, that's kind of the objective. Hopefully do it sooner than that. We have to do it sooner than that because I believe Christmas Day, the markets are closed, but I think you get the drift. So I think this is probably the spreadsheet that we're going to use. We're going to just kind of tighten it up a little bit. We're going to have our date, trade number. So the idea here is to trade one trade a day. One trade a day, we're going to start with $2,000, and our target is going to be a very modest. I've got my, so I did a spreadsheet. I've got these targets. This is just a sample of the spreadsheet. So I got these very modest targets, and then of course our ending target, right? But then we're going to punch up our actual gains, and the balance when you add in the beginning and what the balance is going to be, and any budget variance we're going to have from it. But probably the most important column in this spreadsheet is the notes, where we can actually write in there, oh, this was a challenge, or we got in too early, we got in too late, we got out too late, we had a good trade here, we had a good trade there. Whatever our feelings are going to be, we're going to put those in the notes. I'm a firm believer that if you log your trades, you learn from your mistakes, you celebrate the wins, learn from the mistakes, and and this is how you're going to become good as a good trader. If you just keep throwing mud at it, right? Well, some of it's going to stick, but a lot of it's going to fall off the wall, and you kind of want to get good and consistent, and that's kind of the whole thrust of this. But our whole objective here is to turn this, and if you follow this spreadsheet through, which I will show you in the trading room, of course, you'll see that we're going to hit our $10,000 target in December. Just gonna try and pull it up here, see if I can. See if I can find it here. I'm sure I can find it. Here it is here. Okay, this is it right here. So I'm just gonna get this here. If you just follow this along, December 26th, we will hit our $10,000 target. I'm pretty confident we're gonna hit it before that. I'm pretty confident we're gonna hit it before that. So that's kind of the objective there. Okay. All right. So moving along here, trading room. All right, let's go here. This is what the trading room is all about. It's moderated by expert traders, Aaron and myself. Okay. And this is where strategies come alive, mornings, 9:20 to 10:30. You're going to learn and earn from the best. I'm not going to be shy. We've been doing this long enough. Aaron and I have combined 40 years plus experience, and that's to your advantage. It's your benefit. And I've got people in the background working with us and stuff and doing things and helping us. And it's not just Aaron and myself, but we have, we have other people that we use to help us. So you actually had a team behind you, and we don't talk about that too much, but you do. And when you see Aaron and I, we're kind of the faces in the front here, but there's actually other people, and I think the combined experience that we have is very important. It's not just one guy or somebody who's stumbled on something that maybe works, maybe doesn't. I think it's important to have a whole team behind you. And these are interactive sessions, also very exciting. One thing our trading rooms are boring. At least I don't think they are. I'd be surprised if they are, because we actually kid around and have fun too. We talk about other things too. And here's the other thing, that we teach what we trade and we trade what we teach. And a lot of people like to teach theory. You ever been to some of these other, training programs or webinars or whatever? And it's all very good theory, right? Works very well in theory. How does it work in practice? That's what you really want to learn. How does it work in practice? Is it really what they say it is? I mean, have you ever got into another training program and you take it home and it's not quite what they said it is? What am I doing wrong? How come I'm not even seeing the same screens that they showed us? And they call tech support and somebody in some faraway land, you can't understand a word they say, and you just, oh my gosh, I roped in again. It's not like that with us. We are the ones that you'll be interacting with. We're the ones that we'll be talking about and communicating with and teaching you. We're going to be teaching you this stuff. All right, you're gonna watch us make real trades, real setups using real money. Now, I do admit that by law, I'm only supposed to show you a sim account, but we are going to be looking at real dollars. Okay, so we're going to be doing real dollars in this whole thing and all that. There is one thing else I do have to tell you, that I was under doctor orders that I personally am not allowed to trade real dollars, but we're going to be giving you real numbers throughout the whole thing. In fact, not only real numbers, but conservative numbers. In all likelihood, you're going to end up making more money than what we're going to be presenting to you. Aaron, you can attest to that, and it's amazing. Some of the numbers that we come up with, like, you scratch your head, say, Hugh. People say to us, Hugh, you're not fair to yourself. If we determine an entry point, we go with the highest that it traded for that particular minute. In all likelihood, you would have got it cheaper. You would have bought it cheaper. But we give ourselves the disadvantage every time, and that's what we're going to do. So, all right. So if you have any questions, right, you're going to get them answered in real time in the trading room. Who does that? I don't know of anybody else who does that, but we do. And this is going to be very exciting. It's the longest running trading room. Been doing this again for the last 14 years. And this is where the 2K to 10K challenge is going to be starting tomorrow. You're going to want to get in on this. All right. So my question to you, can you afford not to subscribe? Can you afford not to subscribe? That's my question. $6.99 for 3 months. Seriously, what does that work out to? I don't know, $6.99, 3 months. I think it works out to like a Subway sandwich. I think a Subway sandwich that both Aaron and I have to split. Let me get this straight here. Divided by 3, divided by 4.3, divided by 5. Aaron, I think it's going to be a veggie sub. We don't even get meat with that Subway sub. Hope you're okay with the veggie delight, I think is what they call it.
Yep. Yeah, I think we talked about that. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I need to eat the veggie patty anyways, because I'm a vegetarian. Been a vegetarian for 23 years. I don't know what your current diet is, Hugh, but hopefully you'll be able to suffice on a veggie delight or a veggie patty.
Not far off that. I'm sometimes I go a lot of vegetarian, and once in a while I'll eat a little meat, but I usually don't feel well when I haven't had a steak dinner since I can remember, if that's what you're alluding to. A little bit of chicken once in a while, but that's about it. Folks, I don't understand why anybody would not want to get in on this. How many times are you going to put, and I know there's some people on this chat line right now that are not members. I know a lot of people are, and I applaud those who are members, and people like Pei-Ling and Sarah and Michael B and Michael W and Norm, and we got Phil K and Rich and Russ and Steve, Terry W, Terry J. Anyway, the list goes on and on and on. And that's just part of it. So how many times are you going to put it off for another day, another week, another month? Because every day that you put it off, you're missing an opportunity. You're missing an opportunity to learn and earn, make some money, enjoy a lifestyle that is the envy of all your, I don't know, not that that's what you want to do it, but it's really kind of a nice lifestyle. I'll tell you, I mean, I don't know Aaron's lifestyle, but I tend to think he goes on vacation a lot. It seems like every other week he's planning another trip. Just came back from Mexico.
Yeah, actually, there is another trip I have planned I haven't even told you about. So yeah, unfortunately.
Where's that going?
Yeah, we're flying to Iceland and then to Paris, France. But I'll be able to assist in the trading room.
Oh my gosh, when is that going to be?
December. After the 2 to 10K is over. So you'll be done in just enough time to.
I love it. Iceland and Paris. I was in Paris a few years ago. Yeah, a pretty exciting place. Let me tell you, pretty exciting place. Yeah, you were in Idaho earlier this summer. Everywhere. I mean, I think it was Idaho, Iowa. You're in Iowa.
Yes, Iowa. Mm-hmm.
You're always traveling. It's a lifestyle. Hey, listen. You know what? I love that too. I don't travel as much as I used to. I don't know. I just kind of like it here where I am. But I'm going to our place in North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and all that, and going to be doing all that, Wilmington, and just going to be doing a lot of that. But the nice thing about it is you can trade anywhere in the world. If you take your computer, you can actually trade as long as you have an internet connection. I believe they could probably trade on the space shuttle, if I'm not mistaken. I think my goal in life, Aaron, is to have somebody on the space shuttle actually be part of the trading room. And if I can make that happen one day, that will be my, some people want to ring the bell, the morning bell. Me, I just want to have somebody on the space shuttle trade along with us in the morning trading room. I think that would be unbelievable. But
I think the latency might be a little high on that one.
Yeah, well, lofty goals. But you know what? How much time are you going to put it off? Get in the program. Just do it. Continue to profit. How many are you going to continue to profit inconsistently or worse, lose? Do you know how many people I talk to every week during the days? Several people every day. Well, I'm always losing. I'm inconsistent. I lose. I make some money. I lose. keep trying different approaches, different strategies. Here's another one. So many times people say, well, I just want to try this strategy and that strategy. It reminds you of that little toy, that little car that kind of goes and then it hits the side of this wall or something, and it flips over on its back and goes the other way, and until it hits another wall, flips over, goes another way. If you keep all these different strategies, try and find, what strategy works, what doesn't, you'll never find that spot where you're happy, because you're always gonna, try and do something better, something more, something. I think the key is you have to find something that fits your lifestyle, fits your goals, fits your, your style. Tweak it as necessary, but stay with it, develop it, learn it, and work well with it. I'll be honest with you. I tried many strategies in the past. Oh my gosh, I could write a book on all that. And what would he call that book? Hugh's worst nightmares on the stock market, or how you lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in the stock market, or I don't know, anything along that line. Because you try something, it looks pretty good on paper, doesn't it? Until the reality hits you. I remember covered calls. I mean, we can spend all night talking about this kind of stuff. I don't want to kind of go down that path, but that's a rabbit hole that's going to probably save for another night. But maybe that's what we should do one night when it's kind of a quiet night. I mean, you and I will sit on a Wednesday night or something. Let's talk about horror stories. crack open a beer on that one. Sit back and just exchange horror stories. Covered calls. Oh yeah, this is great. Look at this. I'm making all this money. And then of course, when the stock turns against you, like it happened with me and Krispy Kreme, for the longest time, I wouldn't go into a Krispy Kreme donut store because of that. All of a sudden I get this margin call. Oh my gosh, this wasn't in the books. This wasn't in the script. What am I doing here?
Yeah, I don't think it was Krispy Kreme. I think it was Krispy Hugh. You got burnt.
I never burned on that deal. Well, I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah. One of my early subscribers, Amber, wonderful lady. She was doing very well. And then she came out and says, Hugh, I got a real cool strategy I'm trying. What is it, Amber? She says, I'm selling naked puts on FFIV. I looked at FFIV. I said, Amber, I want you to stop doing that. But why? I'm making money. I said, you are now. But there's going to be one point when the stock is going to turn against you. Yes, you can make some money on selling naked puts as long as the stock is flat or going up. But as soon as it turns on you, and it will, it's a tech stock, it will. And if you don't have the cash in there, you don't want to buy the stock, you're going to get a margin call. But Hugh, I'm making money. I forbid you do it, Amber. And we got a thing about that. And she never listened to me. Instead, she called me one day crying, they got the margin call you're talking about. Oh, okay, how much do they want? Can't remember what she said, 40 or 45,000 or something. So, well, Amber, either come up with the money or they liquidate your account. Well, guess what? She didn't have the money. They liquidated her account. That was the end of her trading career. Back to doing massage therapy or whatever she did. And it was really sad because Amber was well on her way to making a lot of money, a really good living trading options, that she just stayed with the program. Nope, she had to veer off. Anyway, how many times are you going to carry on funding your trading? How do you guys do this? You keep putting money into your trading account. Shouldn't it be the other way around, where you actually put money into your bank account from your trading account? How much are you going to try to learn it all on your own? Keep coming back to these free sessions thinking you're going to pick up enough pieces to put it all together. I know some people do that. You're not going to get it all. Okay. You're welcome. Don't get me wrong. I know some of you have been here for years. You're welcome to come back, but you're not going to get all the pieces. You need to, here, let's just go like this here. There we go. You have to get in the program where you get it all in a big chunk. And I remember this. I'm going to go back to my aviation. As a pilot, I use a lot of aviation kind of, what do you call those things? Comparisons and stuff. And I remember my instructor, first thing he said to me, he said, well, okay, so you want to learn how to fly. Cool. He said, I'm just going to tell you something. If you're going to do this, you should actually commit to doing it in a fairly quick time period. He says, I know it's expensive. It's not a cheap, thing. It's going to be expensive, but some people, they like to stretch it out over several years or a couple of years. He said, that's not a good idea because, you go up with, once, and then maybe a couple months later, you go up again. Well, the second time you go up, you will have forgotten a lot of what you learned the first time you went up. So you have to kind of relearn that. So if you do it all kind of in one sort of okay, I'm going to do this in the next 6 months or something, you'll retain all that information and you're going to learn it, and you're going to learn it well. You're going to get your license. Now you're good to go. But if you stretch it out over 2 years or 3 years, you're actually going to spend a lot more money, and it's not going to be as good in any way. You're probably going to get bored and just drop off. And anyway, so this is what I suggest too. Get in, learn this stuff, get in the trading room. And I will tell you, the trading room is addictive. A lot of people, probably most people that are in this, they stay in there a very long time, but that's a good thing, because the longer you're in with the trading room, the more exposed you're going to be to so many different market conditions. I can attest, I'm pretty sure Aaron can too, that no 2 trading days are the same in the stock market. So the longer you're in with us, the better your trader going to be. And we got some guys on here and gals on here. They've been on for a long time. And I'm telling you, they knock them out of the park. They're doing very well. People are doing better than I am. Mind you, that's because I talk to it and I don't actually focus on my own trades. All right. So let's get into some of the questions. Will the trades for the 2 to 10K be the same trades we would usually be doing for the 6%, except we only going to go for 2.5 to 3%? That's a good question, David. We are going to be looking at our setups, going back to the fundamentals. And I would say, generally speaking, probably that is going to be the case. We're going to be looking at the setups, getting in on the breakouts that we identify, going to be checking in with Aaron on his longer term projections. We're going to be looking to make sure we have enough runway, right? Room to grow into. We're going to make sure there's no news coming up in 10 minutes that's going to thwart our trades. We're going to make sure everything is set up properly and minimize risk as much as possible. And we're going to try and just go for some very modest gains, something that is attainable. And by the way, if you have a cash account, you can do this. You do not need a margin account to do this. You don't have to worry about the 25K rule. If you have a cash account, you should be able to do this. So, all right. Another question, were the 115 of 118 trades in the promotional material the ones you use for the 2 to 10K program? Were those were just normal trades. In fact, we did all kinds of strategies with those. We did out of the morning gate. We did scalps. We did bread and butter trades. And I think we did some 2 to 10K trades on that as well. They come from everything that we had done. So they weren't just the 2 to 10K trades. All right. What are the questions, Aaron? Any other questions in here? Okay.
I'm looking.
Take a look and just if you can guarantee the 10K, I love this one. You will okay. So Carl, if you can guarantee the 10K, I will join. If not, why should I subscribe? Okay, Carl, with that attitude, I would say you're probably not a subscriber. Nobody can guarantee anything. All right. If anybody guarantees anything, all right, they are out of line. They cannot guarantee. The guarantee is worth it. In this business, there are no guarantees, as you well know. We do everything humanly possible to make it happen. We have done it in the past. I anticipate we're going to do it in the future. As I mentioned earlier, I can't even guarantee I'm still going to be alive at the end of the session in 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I take those words seriously. So what I say is that it doesn't cost you that much to get into the trading room, Carl. And if nothing else, you're going to learn a hell of a lot of stuff you probably didn't know before. So there's really not a losing situation here for you. But if you're new to this and you're not sure, just come in anyway. Just watch for a bit. Okay, you can always pick it up later. Maybe instead of taking 2 to 10K, maybe you'll take 2 to 5K, or 2 to 3K, or 7K, or 8K. Right? Doesn't matter. I think you'll just enjoy the ride, if nothing else. All right. Any other questions? What questions here?
I think there was a question. the last one, it says, how much should I have in my trading account for this class? Did you
Okay.
answer
Okay, so we're gonna start with 2,000. We're starting with 2,000. Okay, so that's a good question. How much should you have? I mean, the more the better, because you're not gonna feel the stress. So there's a couple components here. Not just having the money in the trading account to trade, but ideally it would be good to have more money in there so you don't feel the pressure that this has to work or else I lose my mortgage money for the month, or my rent money or something, or I'm not going to be able to pay for groceries or something like that. This is a longer term kind of a project that we're going to do. And we may not trade every day. I suspect if I'm not going to be there Tuesday, Aaron, you may not want to do this Tuesday. I don't know what you want to do Tuesday. You'll probably be doing your own thing.
Yeah, I'm leaving this baby for you. This is your baby.
Thanks. Love it. Other days we might go for more than the budgeted amount, right? Tomorrow, in case the market is going to go in our direction, we might just say, instead of making $50, we'll go for 101. We'll cover Tuesdays off as well, since I'm not going to be here Tuesday. So we'll see how it goes. All right. This is not in stone. This is just a guideline, and we're going to track it. We're going to follow it, and we're going to do well with it. So now I will say that personally, I like to, when I do real trades, here's how I do it. I like to get into a trade, but I also apportion a good chunk in the reserve fund, what I would call my reserve, say $10,000, just in case I need to go back and repair a trade. Now, I don't anticipate we're going to be doing that with this. All right. We're going to be very careful, very methodical. And if the trade setup is just not there, or just not feeling 100% confident or comfortable or whatever, we can only skip a day. Okay. In fact, the last time we did this, we skipped a few days here and there. We didn't trade every day. All right. But I think you're going to learn a lot. So, all right. What are the questions here? Do you really think this is something I can do? I have limited experience with options, and I see this as very risky. Well, here's the way I look at that. Do you really think this is something I can do? Let me explain something to you, folks. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. That's just the truth of the matter. All right. I've not spent any time on the trading floor anywhere, although I was in the Chicago building for probably about an hour once many years ago in the gallery, just watching. That was the extent of my experience on the trading floor. Look, if I can do this, you can do this. Okay. We teach you everything. If you have any questions, you ask. The answer is absolutely, you can do this. A lot of people have. We've had people in the past take it from 2 to 10. They're all excited about doing it again. In fact, we had people asking us, well, can you take it to 100,000 this time? And that's what we're actually deliberating, whether we should do it to 100,000. And we said, no, you know what? We want to make it so it's more comfortable for everybody. So, yeah, we're going to do it again. I got to be confident we're going to do it again. Do you do any other strategies in the trading room, or just a 10K challenge? Yes, we do other strategies. We've got our out of the morning gate, which is a little breakout strategy off the 5-minute candles. We do the scalping strategy, which is probably what this is going to be more like, where we just go for a small amount, but multiple times during the day, which is what I really like to do. And the bread and butter strategy, Aaron and I, I'm not supposed to talk about it, but we're just kind of working on this other little thing. We're doing a lot of testing, and we're going to bring that out later sometime, not right now. But this 2 to 10K is going to be pretty exciting. So what are the strategies you got here? What are the questions, I should say?
You can talk about them getting a copy of the spreadsheet that they can keep track of their trades.
Yes, the people in the trading room are going to get the spreadsheet. That's a good point. That's a good point here. I'm just reading a comment here from Steve P. I subscribed yesterday. I have yet to receive my login information email to the trade room. All right. I will take note of that and make sure you have that. Steve, after the session, I am going to make sure you have that login. New email. Okay, I got that noted. So what happens is that if you subscribe on the weekend, I'm going to talk here. The guys over at Eagle Financial, they're doing all the administration and all that, so they may not get to your information right away. Either they will probably process it first thing in the morning, but we're going to send it to you tonight. Okay, you'll get that tonight. So not a problem. The spreadsheet copy, you're going to get that tomorrow. I should have to get that to you tomorrow. Another question here. Does Thinkorswim keep our trading history in our account? If so, for how long? Where can we find it? I believe Thinkorswim will keep your history for well over a year. Go to the monitor tab for that. I think that's where you'll, there's a section there under monitor, I think account information or something. It'll all be there. Let me see here. Can you do 20 to 100? 20K to 100K? You can do whatever you want. If you want to carry it on and, just carry on what we're doing, you can do whatever. We're not going to do 20K to 100K. We want to keep this more for, the masses, I guess, if you will. But if you can do 2 to 10, you can start with 20 to 100. It's that's on you, however you want to do it. Another question here. Will you go over all the details before you make the trades or just after the fact? So the point here is we're going to change things around a little bit. I think I'm going to push through the fundamentals very quickly here in the mornings, and then we're going to get into actually looking at the 2 to 10K and figuring out which contracts we're going to buy, what we're looking for the the entries and the exits on that. So we're going to spend a little more time in that doing that. So another question here. Is there a year's discount? There may be. Let me see. Is there a discount if you buy the trading room for a year? Is that the question? Let me just take a look and see here. What I'm doing is going to go to the website. I can tell that I haven't been there in a while. All right, so that is the the ultimate training workshop. Well, we get a lot of stuff here, don't we? Okay, subscribe to the trading room. Okay, so this is the this here is the web page for this, and if you want to go for a full year, there's a 56% discount off the annual rate. Let me see here. It is. What would the annual rate on this be? I don't know. I don't have that information. This here is set up to charge you quarterly, $6.99 a quarter. If you do want to go with a year, what I would suggest there is that you contact customer service at DayTradeSPY.com. Okay, email them, customer service at DayTradeSPY, and ask them for the yearly rate. And then they'll probably send you the link, and then take it from there. Okay, I think that's the way to do it there. Okay, so there's another one here. All right. Okay, I just have to take this down as well. And anybody else who may not have received their link yet for tomorrow, I want to get these names on there so that I can actually get these links out to you. Awesome. Thank you all for joining on that one. That's really good. All right. Any other questions here that we can answer? Anything else that we should discuss here before we let you guys go? I think that's about it. It's almost 9 o'clock. I'm very excited about it. Aaron, how about you? Are you excited? I don't know about you. I'm excited.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited. There's going to be a little bit of a pressure, but we can handle it. One thing I do want to say, if you have a larger account, you may want to start smaller, and then I think we're going to do another 2 to 10K because this has been really popular. So if you're just getting started with us and you weren't in the 2 to 10K before, you may want to start the 2 to 10K challenge with just a smaller portion of your larger account, and then parlay those profits later as well, because the market has been pretty volatile in general. And if you haven't gone through our ultimate trading training course, you're not familiar with how we trade, and you're coming on board with us for this, you may want to start with a smaller portion of your account and then grow that up and keep good track of your records and good track of your numbers. And then when we do this again and you feel so inclined, you could use a much larger amount.
Brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. I know, Aaron, I'm excited. I'm probably not going to sleep tonight. So if I sound a little groggy tomorrow, that's why. Don't worry. My blood pressure, right? Can you see this? 129,
Oh
129.
my gosh.
All right. I've been instructed to. That's going to be the next step, folks. We're going to maybe ask for a doctor's note to be able to do this if
Yeah.
you got a ultra high blood pressure or some heart condition, just kind of warn you. Actually, it's not going to be that hard. It's really not going to be that hard. If you're still with us after this long a time, all right, you are okay to join. All right, you are more than welcome, and you're okay to join. And we welcome you. We want to see you all online. I want to see all of you online. All right, and
Yeah, the question we have is, what is the best trading platform for this? Well, we use Thinkorswim, so we'd obviously recommend Thinkorswim. And if you're new, if you need help setting up your platform for any reason, and you're new to the trading room, please let us know, and we can walk you through the steps on how to set it up.
Now, we're not familiar with all platforms. I know that I was asked the other day if I don't know, some other platform, I wasn't familiar with it. I said, well, I can have a go at it. I can't guarantee I'm going to be good, but I think they're probably mostly sort of similar in how they operate, I'm guessing, but I know some of them are harder and easier, whatever, than others. So, but Thinkorswim is what we like to use. And we use basic indicators. We don't really change a whole lot of indicators. So there's nothing proprietary that we're holding on to, and you have to have this or else, oh, by the way, the subscription to this proprietary indicators is $100 a month. None of that. You are all good. All right. Speaking of all good, I think with that, E-Trade should be fine. A lot of people use E-Trade. Again, I'm not familiar with it, but if you can just change a couple parameters, you should be good to go. So all good. All right, gang. With that, I'm going to let you go, and I hope to see you all here tomorrow morning, 9:20 Eastern. Gates open at 9. Here's what we do. We play music. The reason is so that if you do not hear music, that means check your audio speaker software. And so they're all set to go by 9:20, right? We're all set to go, and we'll see you online. Thank you, Aaron. Been a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
You're the one, shine brighter than the moon and the sun. Be great at what you do, give it all of you, and trust the process to keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you